Hi everyone and welcome back to a brand new piercing video. So I asked for your questions on Instagram and Twitter. You sent me your questions, so make sure you do come and follow me on my Instagram and Twitter so next time you can get your piercing questions in. But let's get straight into the video. Yes, bitch. Should I get my nose pierced again if the last time I got it, it was super infected and just not healing? I would be very careful with re-piercing old piercings that didn't go very, very well. I mean, if you're gonna get the other side done or maybe in a slightly different position, I would say go for it and just try and look after it as best you possibly can. If you then have the same problem again, maybe nose piercings just aren't for you and your body just doesn't like them. Some people sadly cannot have piercings. Like some people's bodies just do not like them. So you might be one of those people, but if it's not happened to anything else, I would say get it redone, maybe in a different place or the other side, just to be safe, and then just make sure that you look after it. What's next on your piercing list? So I will eventually get my nipples done. I know I've been saying this for so long, but I'm gonna get my nipples done eventually. Like I've just been really like, and it's expensive, so I've got to save the money up because I don't have a lot of money, so like I've got to buy it and stuff, so nipple piercing will get done eventually. Is a lip piercing a good one to start with for a newbie? I love lip piercings because they heal really quickly. They are one of those things that you kind of have to get used to. Also, when you sleep, you don't really have any problems, because the thing is, when you get your ears pierced, you're rolling on when you're asleep and you hit them and stuff and they get pulled and they're easy to get infected because you're just kind of like, it's hard to sleep when you have a new piercing unless you sleep on your face. Like, does anyone here watching me sleep on their face? I don't. How do you feel about people piercing themselves? Oh gosh, so I'd be a hypocrite if I was to say, don't do it, oh, awful. I wouldn't advise doing it, but I have done some myself, so I would be a hypocrite by saying like completely don't do it. I think if you know what you're doing 100%, you can possibly do it okay. It's really difficult to get angles of your piercings perfectly like correct when you're doing it yourself and you're trying to do it like this. Like, it's just really difficult to get it perfect. Would you ever consider getting another nape piercing? Oh my gosh, so if you've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I did have the back of my neck done, my nape. I've had it done twice over my time. Out of any of my piercings I've ever had, that is one of the main ones that I miss so much. I love it. I love that it's not very common. It's like surface piercings like that did get a little bit more common than they used to be, but still, they're not something that everyone really has. So I would love to have my nape done again. However, I don't think it's very practical for me just to have it done. Like I like to wear things like chokers and stuff and they would get in the way. Also, like with working out, I go to the gym quite often and I'm constantly like moving my neck and I just think it would grow out. So probably not. Is it normal for a conch piercing to bleed 2 days after you've had it? Yes. Don't be surprised if a brand new piercing bleeds, if you knock it or like in the morning you wake up and there's blood on it. It is going to happen for me. It could be like for a couple weeks afterwards, it can still technically bleed if you knock it or you're not really careful. So don't panic, don't worry, it's just natural, it's normal, it might bleed. If it lasts over 2 weeks and up to like more than that, I would then contact your piercer and be like, I don't really know why it's doing this. Have you ever been discriminated against because of your body modifications in the street, workplace, interviews, etc.? So when I first started working in retail, the place I was working at the time didn't allow me to have any piercings and it took a long time for the rules to change. It now has changed and I'm allowed to look the way I look, so I don't have any problems with that. I get a lot of stares on the street, I get a lot of people looking at me. A lot of people stare at me and they're like, and it's actually children. I literally cannot stand the stares from children because they just speak and they stare and they point without even like children don't know like embarrassment or shame or all that kind of stuff. So like they don't really understand what's kind of like right and rude or whatever. So just staring and pointing. What annoys me though is the parents a lot of the time don't do anything. They're like, oh yeah. Like they don't say to the child, oh, it's rude to stare at someone, or it's rude to point and talk about someone. Like parent your kids. How do you feel about people associating piercings with certain genders? Oh my gosh. It's one of those things like sexism, like is a big thing. I hate the fact that a man or whatever, being like, or a masculine person being more feminine or doing something that's considered feminine is like weird. Like for me, I have my belly button pierced and a lot of people say, belly button piercings are for girls. Why do you have yours done? Because I wanted it. It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. Get a grip, people. Get a grip. Get a grip. Don't you hate it when people ask you, do you have any other piercings, meaning down your genital region? Okay, so I have spoken about this before and I'm just gonna briefly do it again. Yes, oh my God, like just because I look alternative does not mean it's okay to ask about my junk. Like I don't come up to you and go, how big is your vagina? What are your walls like? Or how big is your penis? Do you have a lot of foreskin? I'm not too sure. Oh, are you cut or uncut? Like I don't say that to you, so why'd you come up to me and say, do I have my genitals pierced or do I have anything downstairs? Like don't ask me about my genitals because it has nothing to do with you? Nothing. Would you ever get your daith pierced, as it seems to be the only one that you don't have on your ear? I actually really want to get a daith piercing. The only thing is I don't think any of mine are actually big enough to get done. I might have to go to the piercer and just ask Ronnie if she can do it or not, because I would like to get one side at least done, but I don't think it's big enough. Size matters. Would you ever get shark bites? Ooh! So shark bites are basically when you have 2 on each side, almost like double snake bites, some people call them, but they're called shark bites, with like 2 here and 2 here. I wouldn't get it done. I just don't think I want anything else done to my lips. I quite like my lips the way with just the 2 here. These in a perfect position because my teeth aren't completely straight here, so they don't touch them. I know that if I get something done on this side, it will be hitting my teeth. Also, because I'm so anal with things being kind of like perfectly positioned, if I get another 2 here and they're ever so slightly off, it will absolutely destroy me. So I don't think I've got the courage to do that. No. I don't know if I want to do as Medusa or a smiley piercing. Can you please talk about what I should think about with these piercings? Basically, I know what you're trying to say. Smiley piercings are the ones that go in the frenulum bit of skin, like at here, at the top of your, like, at this bit of your mouth here, the bit of skin. I don't have it there, so I can't really show you. I would always say no to them just because they are very like high risk of damaging your gums and your teeth. I was talking to a piercer a few months ago, and she said to me that there was a woman had like a curved barbell up here, and there was like a massive indent in her gum, like where it was over time, and I was just like, ooh, gum erosion, no thank you. I would say for you, get a Medusa piercing. I like Medusa piercings on their own, they're quite cute, but smiley piercings to me are just a little bit too high risk. My school keeps trying to get me to take my ear piercings out because it's not uniform. What are your opinions on this? But if it's your school uniform, there's nothing you really can do except for just kind of deal with it and just have to take them out, else you might get suspended, and that's not a good thing to have on your record. Do you think dermals on the back are worth it? What are the chances of them getting pulled out? I don't think getting a piercing on your back is a very good idea. I think if you're gonna get like a corset piercing or you're doing suspension, having it for a tiny little time for some photos, it looks really cool, that's great. But if you're gonna get dermals in your back, is it worth it? Because you can't see it, you will catch them a lot when you sleep. Also when you change your clothes. It's different when you have a piercing in your front or here where you can see them and you're very conscious of them. But if they're in your back, you're probably gonna forget you've got them sometimes. You're gonna change your clothing or whatever and you're gonna pull them. I would just say don't bother. Are you thinking about sizing up any of your piercings? If so, which ones? I want to stretch my right earlobe a little bit now, but stupidly to me, talking about home piercings, I pierced this one myself and the angle of it is a little bit funny, so I don't know what it's gonna be like if I start stretching it, if it's gonna be too thin on one side. So maybe I'll just stretch it up a tiny bit, only because this one here is an 8mm and it's kind of looking a little bit unsymmetrical and it's kind of bothering me a little bit. Do you worry about the gay community not accepting your piercings, or do you worry about the piercing community not accepting the fact that you're gay? So I feel like the alternative community and the LGBT community are very interlocked in a lot of ways. That's why I feel like my audience that I have now kind of like both of my content, because I feel like the community is very together. There are obviously people who won't like it, but that's kind of the same within the straight world or any world. I think when you get to the stage that I am, like for me, I've gone past the stage of like being attractive. I will be very lucky to find a guy who doesn't like piercings, but then will date me. It's a massive part of me now. It's not like I've got like a few in my ear that's kind of like whatever. Like this is a huge part of my life and a huge part of the way I look. So I'll be very lucky if I find that. So like I'm still single and I don't know, hopefully I can find someone who likes me for me. I made a video a long time ago how I was sort of worried about being modified and being gay because it is obviously very difficult. All in all, I'm gonna do what makes me happy and I love looking like this, so I'm not gonna change. But I feel like the LGBT community and the alternative community kind of do interlock. Like piercings with gay people are very common, just maybe not to my extent. So thank you so much for all of your questions. If I didn't get to your question today, it's just because I've done it before or I will like use it in my next one. So make sure you do follow me on my Instagram, Twitter and all that stuff, so next time you can get your questions in. If you do like my trot along a bitch t-shirt I have been wearing throughout this video, you can go buy it. There's a link there as well. And also some other videos are down below. So I'll see you all very soon. Hit the like button and I love you and it'll be amazing. And bye.